On Friendly Fire today, I'm with Mike Ostrolenk of the Liberty Coalition. It's a transpartisan organization that tries to get groups on the left and right to work together. Can you kind of explain what you mean by transpartisan?
Certainly. The thing that brings people from across the political spectrum, liberals, conservatives, libertarians, and progressives together in the Liberty Coalition is a recognition from everyone the importance of protecting our constitutional rights. So our mission statement is basically the importance of all 10 amendments to the Constitution, separation of powers, the recognition that individuals are sovereign over the state should serve us, not we serve the state.
We're not subjects, we're citizens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And although there might be disagreements on particular specific policy areas within the Liberty Coalition, there is a general consensus that the importance of protecting our civil liberties.
Okay, just maybe one or two instances where you've joined coalitions where you did not have success, but you did have success, but maybe had an impact. What would those be?
Well, probably the best one I can think of is around the Patriot Act. We had a very, very broad and deep coalition, everyone across the political spectrum. This is during the Bush days. This is during the Patriot Act reform. I think maybe 2005 or 6. Mm-hmm. It's been, keeps coming back up, so I'm not really clear on the exact dates. Maybe a little bit, maybe it's 2004. And we're actually having great success on the Hill. We're doing tons of briefings, meeting with staff. We had a lot of media, did a lot of talk radio. And momentum is heading in our direction. We're really excited about some of the reforms that we wanted to be included in the reform package.
Yeah, but Obama just extended the Patriot Act. I mean, are we realistically going to impact that? Because no one in Congress is going to say they're against the Patriot Act. They won't get reelected.
Well, and then there's the but, because then the 7/7 attacks against England occurred. Mm-hmm. And it was really interesting because I think that was over the summer, 7/7, so that was over the summer, and the mood completely shifted in Congress. Mm-hmm. And a lot of our supporters, congressional members, kind of got tepid and got less supportive.
For political reasons.
For political reasons, yeah, because if it happened here again and they voted against Patriot Act reauthorization as it was, and then they can be blamed for the attack. And then we lost it. And it got reauthorized with minor modifications, even some worse things included. But it did show the strength of bringing people from all across the political spectrum together on a particular issue. Although, due to the circumstances of the English attacks, we did lose the battle.
Okay, now we got Obama. Some people are calling him Bush 2 in terms of his civil liberties. What's the difference between Obama and Bush in terms of civil liberties? I have friends on the left and the right who are saying, now, wait a second, this guy does look like Bush 2. He's just moving forward, and he's putting some in law. He's even come out against Miranda warnings. I mean, what's up with this? And
he's Bush 2, and then a little bit worse. Because if you recall, he did support original going after the telecoms, and then when he got into office, he supported telecom immunity. And it'd be interesting to see the funding for the telecoms.
He was going to limit the Patriot Act, but he's re-signed it up.
Right.
In full.
Holder is a strong supporter of the Patriot Act. NSA domestic spying continues. You're not allowed to target American citizens abroad for assassination. Mm-hmm. You mentioned the Miranda issue. The fusion centers continue to grow and expand across the states.
And renditions occurring under Obama and alleged torture.
Gitmo is still a viable place.
So he's the same but worse. So at the end of the day, and I get this posed to me all the time, and some of the great dissenters like Martin Luther King and others came to the conclusion that politics didn't work. So they said, let's have civil disobedience or whatever. So does politics work anymore? I mean, what I see now is that, and I'm not saying it's a conspiracy, but more like a monolithic consensus, is the idea that as long as you and I are arguing over politics and left and right wing views, the government just seems to move forward.
Well,
and they do what they want to do. Obamacare is a good example of that. A lot of opposition on Obamacare. Most Americans didn't want it. Vigorous, we got it anyway.
Yeah, I think there's two things within what you just said. One, using Obamacare as an example, is a great left-right effort against Obamacare, specifically the insurance mandate provisions. Mm-hmm. You never heard word one about that. Some of our friends got on MSNBC, left and right, to show that there was opposition to Obamacare on that particular provision, but hardly anything. It is more portrayed as Republicans versus Democrats, liberals versus conservatives, because there's an interest in the power elite, including all their supporters within the media, the establishment, to keep things as they are. This fake debate between left and right, That's a
You
very
said fake debate. Yes.
fake debate. I mean, there are some legitimate differences, but it's mostly a fake debate. Very narrow. There's no depth to it. It's great for fundraising on from these groups who run policy.
Yeah,
in
they
DC.
appear to be striding against one another. They're raising money to get back in office, politicians.
Yeah, and there's very, very little difference between Republicans and Democrats. I mean, you can say that the Republicans, when they're in power, it's like the establishment leaning a little bit right, and the Democrats in power, it's establishment leaning a little bit left. But the bailouts are an example. Bush supported the first set of bailouts, and Obama continues them. Federal Reserve policy is a great example. I run a coalition.
No transparency in government. In fact, Obama, he may be worse than Bush in terms of transparency, or is he?
If not worse, close to the same as Bush. Yeah. Audit the Fed is a great example. I'm running a coalition for the Campaign for Liberty, which is a transpartisan coalition. We have groups on the left and the right. There's a bill in the House, Ron Paul's bill for Audit the Fed. It has 331 or 2 co-sponsors.
Yep.
There's a bill in the Senate, has 31 or 32 co-sponsors. Similar bills. The Senate one is Sanders, DeMint. The House one is Ron Paul and Grayson, Democrat. So it's a good left-right in the House and Senate. But the Federal Reserve and the establishment elite are doing everything they can to defeat that effort because they don't want people to see what happens inside the Federal Reserve because that's how they fund all these programs.